Our group's presentation is on index card rule number 4.
Do not buy individual stocks. Rachel was formerly the chief civil engineer of the city of Houston, Texas, and is currently a middle and high school STEM teacher. The first thing I asked Rachel during her interview was whether or not she has ever bought stocks. To the delight of the index card's authors, she answered no. She hasn't ever bought a stock, not once. Her reasoning for having never done so fell into a few categories. Firstly, she had anecdotes regarding the rise and fall of others who'd played the market and lost. She told me about a coworker of hers at her engineering firm who was just a few years from retirement. He'd placed most of his retirement assets into the stock market. When the September 11th attacks happened and the markets crashed, he lost a lot of his savings, forcing him to work for about a decade longer than he had planned for. Rachel had also been instructed since her youth to be fiscally conservative and risk-averse. She remembered taking a class in high school where a teacher drilled into them that the best thing they could do with their money was stay away from the stock market. That and the penny pinching of her mother really set her attitudes on saving and investing for life. Most of her investments are tied up into mutual funds with time-based investment strategies. These are the funds that invest more conservatively as they, and you, age, so your money is less prone to fluctuating with the markets.
You are not Warren Buffett. The book states that Warren Buffett is a legendary stock picker who was widely considered one of the most astute stages of investing in our lifetime. He's considered the ultimate stock guru. However, we should not pick stocks like him. In the index card, it presents a paper by both Brad Barber and Terrence Oden at the University of California. The paper states that over and over again, when it comes to making investment decisions, we are more likely to make the wrong decision than the right. People believe they are in front of the trends when we are really chasing them. People also buy when the market is up and sell when it is down, which is when you are losing money. People panic. The stocks that they do keep tend to worsen, and the stocks that they sold got better after selling. Instead of trying to beat the market, it'd be better off if we just kept the money. Not only will individual stock picking not lead you to beat the market, but it is likely to leave you behind, possibly way behind. The person I interviewed is my father. He has taught me from a young age about investing and has given me a lot of information about the stock market. Thus, I thought he was a good candidate to interview. He has a vast knowledge of the stock market, as he has read many investing books, watched many shows about investing, and has done a lot of research. When asking him about this chapter, my father explained to me his knowledge about Warren Buffett. He stated that Warren Buffett gets better deals than the average investor because he buys such large amounts. That is why, partially, he makes so much money because he's getting better deals than the average person trying to invest in the same stock. He also states that Warren Buffett has a whole team that does research, and they know way more about the company than the average investor, thus coming to the conclusion that you are not Warren Buffett and shouldn't be investing like him.
Financial advisors don't play the game any better than you. Rachel hasn't used the services of a fund manager. Finding their costs too high and their performance is too variable, she instead opted for her mutual funds. She does believe that hiring someone to help you set up a plan for your future is important, but does not believe that leaving that future in the hands of one person or company is prudent. Her philosophy regarding money managers seemed to be having someone actively manage your money is the best way to lose it, and doing so does not allow for you to diversify your own investments.
No one on TV knows a stock's future.
This section talks about how TV and the internet is used as a source for gaining knowledge about the stock market and learning about its future. Some of the key points that I've learned from this section of the textbook is that TV hosts and internet sources, they use the same toxic and damaging message that playing stocks is easy and fun. And an example of an individual stock is a company by the name of JT Advanced Technology. They're known for manufacturing a component for the iPhone 6. However, less than 2 months later, the company filed for bankruptcy, and the stock of that company went down to less than $1. So overall, the main message is that the less you think about individual companies or individual stocks, the better. The person that I interviewed is a friend of mine who graduated from the University of Maryland last year, majored in kinesiology, and is now working for the Montgomery County Department of Recreation, and his role is a recreational coordinator. He recently started investing in stocks and started using the Robinhood app and invested in a couple of stocks including Uber, Twitter, and Netflix. Some of the resources that he uses to learn about stocks include videos from YouTube, podcasts from Apple Music, and some books that he found that are interesting.
You're not a billionaire and you can't invest like one. This section of Rule 4 is discussing the difference between a regular person and billionaires when they invest in the stock market. It states you are a regular person with some money and you earn a decent living. However, you are not on the Forbes list of 100 wealthiest humans, so you should not be investing like you are one. One should use their common sense when investing in stocks. If you have a limited amount of money, you should not be investing all of it into the stock market, as well as not investing all of it into a single stock or a couple single stocks. You still need money for other means of life. Also in this chapter, it states that if there is someone out there who is promoting you to go a certain way on a stock or investment who isn't a close friend or family member, they most likely have some sort of gain in the process and thus want you to spend your money in the way that will benefit them. I interviewed my dad again on this subject, and he had a few words of advice. He said that people will try to make money off you any way they can. So discussing this section about how someone promoting a stock or investment have something to gain is most likely correct, as people are trying to make money anyway. He also gave some insight in something that was not covered in this section, talking about how you should diversify your investments with stocks, bonds, cash, etc. That way, you are not focused on one stock or a few amount of stocks doing well. You have backup plans for other investments. Something else that my dad talked about during our interview is that billionaires can put a lot of money into one stock and not see it as much as a financial loss as they have a lot of money. However, if you are living paycheck to paycheck or aren't making as much money as a billionaire and you put that same amount of money into a stock, you will be hurting way more. Alternative investments are not as nearly as fun as alternative lifestyles.
The next section talks about alternative investments and differentiates it from alternative lifestyles. So the book defines alternative investments as any investment that's not stock, cash, or real estate. The book advises to push collectibles such as coin and stamps as hobbies, not investments. In conclusion, the book states that alternative investments tend to be highly subject to trends, manias, and erratic and dramatic price swings. And most importantly, they bring unpredictability into your life. So the person that I interviewed invests 10% in Laundromat in Guinea, Africa. He uses it as an extra source of income in order to be financially secure. So far, he has made $5,000 from the investments, and he would love to have more assets than liabilities.
Buy and hold 'em. Because Rachel hasn't ever purchased stocks, her investment strategy is less exciting than most. She doesn't often have to think about where her money is or what companies it's being invested into. All she knows is that it's there, and she doesn't have to worry too badly when the market fluctuates. She was adamant that her decision to place her money into time-based mutual funds was the best possible course of action for her money. She took great delight in telling me just how little time she spends researching investment strategies, managing her other investments, or worrying about her financial security in general. She seemed content with her knowledge that she'd invested smartly and that there would be enough for her to live on once she no longer needed to work.
Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed our presentation.